beyond the monster who kills without cause.
God of War Ragnarok is right around the corner. With less than 1 month to go, fans around the world have been speculating on almost every aspect of this game about what we can all expect with Kratos' final adventure in Norse mythology, myself included. It's no secret that nearly a week ago, industry insider Tom Henderson revealed that the game is slated to be around 40 hours in length, which puts it roughly on par with the previous game, God of War 2018, if not just a tad larger. Several weeks ago, we had another dose of insider information that hinted at a file size for the PS4 version of the game, hitting just north of 90 gigabytes. We knew that God of War Ragnarok was going to be a more feature-rich game with all 9 realms to be able to explore in this new game as opposed to the previous game's 6. Just remember, this is all insider information that could certainly have a lot of validity to it and could be exactly right, but that's just it, with the key word being could. None of this is confirmed information, and nothing has been publicly said by the developers that this 40-hour report is, by any means, an accurate portrayal of what's included in the game. That being said, if what we are told by this new insider information is to be true, we can all expect a game that is in line with the length of the campaign in God of War 2018, with the side quests nearly doubling the size for those going for full completion. Stick with me as we go over a breakdown of the game, hour by hour, and what we are likely to have with the game's campaign and side content.
War is not the only way.
God of War Ragnarok is going to be a beast of a campaign, with the story giving us access to all 9 realms to explore, slay enemies to, and unearth its many secrets. Just like God of War 2018, we can expect to see a clear story path with a marker on your compass to guide you to your destination, or you can simply go ahead and ignore that compass marker and go off exploring the myriad of paths that splinter off the main path. We can see the compass returning in God of War Ragnarok with the gameplay provided by Game Informer as shown here. Now, just over a year ago, the creator of God of War and the game director of the very first God of War game, David Jaffe, said that he had information of his own regarding God of War Ragnarok, and stated that the developers of the game were aiming at 40 hours of gameplay. He continues further by saying that he doesn't know if that means 40 hours for just story completion or if it's platinum trophy completion. This 40 hours of gameplay seems to accurately coincide with what was revealed by Tom Henderson regarding the game's 40-hour playtime. Henderson goes a bit further by stating that the game's campaign will provide players around 20 hours worth of content. He then continues to break down the campaign's length by reporting about 3.5 of those hours in the campaign are set aside for the game's cinematics, leaving roughly 16.5 hours of game time to be gameplay. Now, let's head over to God of War 2018 and take a look at that game's stat breakdown regarding the game's length, both in its main campaign and side content. According to the website howlongtobeat.com, the average playtime for God of War 2018's campaign was around 20.5 hours. Now, this most likely contains a few hours reserved for the game's cutscenes as well, which puts it at parity with the information regarding the length of God of War Ragnarok's campaign. For a God of War campaign, I found God of War 2018's campaign to be pretty substantial, especially when compared to the previous games in the franchise, which were much more linear and significantly less open. We also see from this breakdown that it took players 32.5 hours to complete the main story and the side content, with a full completionist number resulting in 51 hours. Now, take all this with copious grains of salt, as this is just an average for those who took the time to upload their completion times to this website, and does not paint the full picture. But it gives us a clear idea as to how long God of War 2018 is when compared to the new insider information regarding God of War Ragnarok's game length. Again, we will not know the completion time until the game comes out, and your mileage may vary depending on how you play it. I am the type of player that likes to take my time and soak up all the sights while going through these types of games, and I will guarantee you that my playtime will be well over the average based on that. With Midgard being significantly larger than the other realms in God of War 2018, with many of the realms being quite small in comparison, I don't think we will encounter that same situation in God of War Ragnarok. I imagine most, if not all the realms, will be around the same size, give or take, and with Svartalheim being the only realm we have been shown, and that being admittedly a tiny slice of it, I'm sure we will have huge realms to explore in God of War Ragnarok, even though they may not be on the caliber of that of Midgard in God of War 2018. Are you the type of player that, like me, takes their time and doesn't rush through games? Or are you the type of player to beeline it straight through to get to all the good juicy story bits? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the video, and smash the subscribe button if you're loving it. Thanks for the support, good people. Now, let's get into God of War Ragnarok's side content. If you were able to pull off some mental math with the information thus far, you'd be right in concluding that God of War Ragnarok's side content is reported to be at around 20 hours. The insider information breaks this down with one of those 20 hours consisting of cinematics, with the remaining 19 hours rounding up the gameplay for the side content. Now, would that hypothetically bring the main and side content for God of War Ragnarok's page on howlongtobeat.com to 40 hours as opposed to God of War 2018's 32.5 hours? Only time will tell on this one, but I am definitely interested in seeing how this game will enter into the website shortly after it launches. Now, I get it. Perhaps some people are disappointed that this game is not going to be as long as they thought it was going to be. Just remember, these numbers are not confirmed numbers by the developers, and is rather just some insider information and should be treated as such. And in regards to the 90 gigabyte file size on the PS4 version being over double that of God of War 2018's, just remember that a larger file size doesn't necessarily equate to a bigger game. Now, this is more often the case, and I am certainly expecting God of War Ragnarok to be longer than the previous game, but perhaps by not as much of a margin as I initially thought. I think it's best to go into these super hyped up games as level-headed as possible, and not to work yourself up so as to invite some possible disappointment. I claimed that God of War Ragnarok was looking to be double the length of God of War 2018, and I'll own up to that myself, and admit that perhaps I was a little far-reaching with that estimate. Rest assured, I still think the game will be longer than God of War 2018, but by how much, I will just have to wait and see. I, along with many of you fellow God of War fans, have been waiting for this game for over 4 years now, and with a studio helmed by some of the most talented developers in the industry, what we are in for is surely something that will be remembered for quite some time. For me, I have no doubt that this is certainly going to live up to the previous game and then some, but even then, if it is even close to the excellence of God of War 2018, then I will rest happy. So, what do you all think regarding this game's reported game size? Remember, this is all hearsay regarding the game's length, and has not been confirmed nor denied by the developers. Their silence on this can be taken in a variety of ways, but Santa Monica Studio have proven time and time again with their insane track record that this game is going to be great. These trailers more than prove that point. Go ahead and view this video here if you'd like to get some insight into the possible death of Kratos in God of War Ragnarok, and how death and the afterlife is viewed in Norse mythology. Fascinating video with a lot of insightful stuff in there, so go check it out. Thanks again for all the love and support for the channel, and I'll see you real soon for more God of War Ragnarok content. Peace, good people.